G'day gamers, I'm the Aussie Wargamer here once again in beautiful Moree, Australia, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about using proxy miniatures in wargaming, when I think it's alright to do and when I think it's a bit of a cop-out. So let's get to it, eh? So a proxy is when you take one miniature and use it as a different miniature for the sake of gaming. Firstly, I want to say that I think most important thing to remember when using proxies is to always make sure your opponents are good with it. Most of the time you can use proxies with your mates and have a great game, but just clear it first. Obviously, if you're using proxies for a tournament, you'll need to check with the old tournament organiser plenty of time in advance. I know Warhammer World events have a strict no proxy policy unless it's a full-on conversion. Alright, now on to my own thoughts. I really like using proxies because it can open up a lot of great storytelling and lore potential. But I think you've got to be more creative than just plonking down a Zengor and calling it a Skyfire. As a servant of Nagash, people ask about proxies for Blood Knights all the time. It's understandable because they ain't the cheapest minis out there. Fantastic sculpts, and if you can afford them, you should get them. But at $160 Australian, I can totally understand why people look for a cheaper option. A number of people I've seen have just taken Elvish Dragon Blades, painted them red, and have said, righto, here's me Blood Knights. I'm not too happy with that, to be honest. And don't get me wrong, I'd be cool with playing against it, but to me, it just lacks a bit of heart, you know? I think a bit of conversion work is pretty important to make your proxy actually look and feel like it belongs. Just painting a model to look like another one's not going to cut the mustard. There are some exceptions, of course. Here's one of my Spirit Host bases that features a miniature that is entirely unconverted and just painted to match the mini it's a proxy for. Here's the difference though. My Death Army is Bretonnian themed, so it fits in with the theme and the fluff of my army. And there's absolutely no question as to what the miniature is representing. Clearly, it's a Spirit Host base, and that's the important thing. So it all comes down to the creativity of how a proxy is used. It can be thematic, like my Spirit Hosts, a simple conversion, like this Khan Wraith of mine, based on an Empire wizard, or more complex conversions, like one of me Bretonnian Black Knights. I love seeing people get creative with their hobby and produce some cracking minis, but hey, that's just one old bloke's thoughts, and you hobby the way you want to hobby. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'm still trying to nut out a release schedule, but stay tuned if you want to hear more of my voice. Catch yous later.